Picture this. Two Russian entrepreneurs, armed with nothing more than ambition and a vision to disrupt the banking system, launch a startup that will eventually revolutionize the financial landscape. Fast forward a few years, and that startup, Revolut, becomes a global fintech powerhouse valued at over $33 billion, competing head-to-head with some of the oldest financial institutions in the world. But here's the thing, Revolut's success story isn't your typical tech entrepreneur journey. It's a tale of grit, controversy, and a relentless desire to shake up the status quo. How did Revolut go from a fledgling startup to the UK's largest financial technology company? How did two outsiders, without deep connections in the banking world, succeed in one of the most heavily regulated industries in the world? The story of Revolut isn't just about success. It's about how two men, with everything to prove, turned their idea into a disruptive financial force, and in doing so, challenged the very fabric of the banking system. The Genesis, a wild idea with global ambition. Revolut was founded in 2015 by two Russian entrepreneurs, Nikolay Storonsky and Vlad Yatsenko. The duo was determined to upend the traditional banking system, and they knew exactly how they wanted to do it, through technology and a new approach to consumer banking. The idea was simple yet groundbreaking: create a global financial platform that could give consumers the freedom to manage their money without the shackles of traditional banks. They envisioned an app that would allow users to easily transfer money, exchange currencies, buy cryptocurrencies, and invest, all without the high fees and complexity of existing financial institutions. They were going to take on the entire banking establishment by making it simpler, faster, and cheaper to manage your money. But what set Revolut apart wasn't just the product, it was the timing. The world was entering the mobile-first era, where people were looking for apps to do everything from ordering food to managing their finances. The traditional banking world had been slow to innovate, and Revolut saw an opportunity to capture the tech-savvy, cost-conscious millennial audience. The power of FinTech, a disruptive business model. Revolut didn't start like most other FinTech companies. They weren't trying to innovate a small part of the financial sector. They were looking to revolutionize the whole system. The FinTech startup was built with an open banking philosophy at its core. Provide a digital banking experience that was seamless, cost-efficient, and accessible on a global scale. The founders didn't want to just create an alternative to banks. They wanted to create a new way of banking entirely. And the beauty of their model was its simplicity. The key to Revolut's disruptive power was the elimination of traditional banking inefficiencies. Where banks typically charge high fees for currency conversion, overseas payments, and international transfers, Revolut offered these services at zero or near zero fees. The app made it incredibly easy to exchange currencies, invest in stocks and crypto, and even hold multiple currencies in one account, all from the comfort of a smartphone. In an industry dominated by brick-and-mortar institutions, Revolut became the slick, cost-effective alternative that people were desperately looking for. But it wasn't just about being cheaper. It was about offering customers something they couldn't get from their banks: control. Revolut gave users the power to manage their money in ways that traditional banks simply couldn't match. You could access your account anytime, anywhere. You could make international transfers in seconds. You could manage everything through an easy-to-use app. Revolut wasn't just offering a product, it was offering a whole new lifestyle for the modern consumer. The funding boom, a frenzied growth story. As Revolut's user base began to explode, so did its funding rounds. Investors were all over it. In 2017, just 2 years after its launch, Revolut raised a whopping $66 million in its Series B funding round. This wasn't just another fintech startup, it was a unicorn in the making. The company quickly became the go-to choice for tech enthusiasts looking for an alternative to traditional banking. But here's where things get really interesting. Revolut wasn't just growing fast, it was growing at an insane pace. By 2018, it had secured more than 3 million users. By 2019, that number shot up to 10 million, and the company was valued at a mind-boggling $5.5 billion. In fact, Revolut became a game-changer in the UK fintech space, quickly overtaking established players like Monzo and Starling Bank, which had a head start. Revolut wasn't just stealing market share from traditional banks, it was outpacing all of its competitors. And all this time, the company remained entirely digital, with a lean business model that didn't require brick-and-mortar infrastructure or the complex overhead costs of traditional banks. This massive funding boom wasn't just a sign of the app's popularity. It was proof that Revolut was delivering on its promise to disrupt the financial world. But the rapid growth didn't come without its challenges. The company faced a series of regulatory hurdles as financial institutions, especially in the UK and Europe, started to question how a tech company was taking on a regulated industry without the same level of oversight. The controversies, a business built on risk. For all its success, Revolut's journey was far from smooth sailing. It didn't take long for controversies to surface. Many critics started to raise concerns about Revolut's unconventional business model. They questioned whether Revolut was playing too fast and loose with financial regulations. The company's rapid expansion was accompanied by questions about whether it was cutting corners in order to grow so quickly. Additionally, Revolut's leadership came under fire for their hard-charging business tactics. Nikolay, the CEO, was known for being a perfectionist and a tough manager. Reports surfaced that the company's fast-paced, aggressive culture led to high employee turnover and allegations of poor work-life balance within the organization. And while this culture may have helped drive growth, it also left employees questioning whether the company was putting its profits above its people. Furthermore, in 2019, Revolut's CEO, Storonsky, made headlines when it was revealed that the company had faced serious privacy violations in its handling of customer data. In a highly controversial move, Revolut employees reportedly accessed private data of users without proper justification. This sparked a major public relations crisis for the company, with critics accusing Revolut of lacking the proper checks and balances for its employees and operations. But through all the drama and controversies, Revolut continued to grow. It seemed that no scandal, no matter how damaging, could slow it down. The brand had a massive following, and consumers were not deterred. Global expansion and the IPO dream. By 2020, Revolut had successfully expanded to over 35 countries, including the United States, Canada, Australia, and parts of Asia. The company's ambition to become a global player was becoming a reality. But while Revolut's growth trajectory remained unstoppable, one key milestone remained elusive: going public. For years, Revolut had been hinting at its IPO, with many speculating that the company was gearing up for a massive public offering. But with the financial industry becoming increasingly competitive and the FinTech space getting crowded, Revolut faced tough decisions about whether it should take the plunge or continue to grow privately. In 2021, Revolut made waves when it revealed plans for an IPO. Investors and analysts are waiting to see if the company can maintain its momentum in an increasingly competitive market, especially with heavy hitters like Chime, Monzo, and Square breathing down its neck. Despite the challenges, Revolut remains one of the most well-funded and successful fintech companies in the world, with its eye on dominating global markets. The legacy of Revolut, shaping the future of banking. So, what can we learn from Revolut's rise? It's clear that Revolut isn't just a fintech company, it's a movement in itself. By offering affordable, flexible financial services and challenging traditional banks, Revolut has shaken up the entire industry. But the company's story is also a testament to the power of vision. Nikolay and Vlad Yatsenko took on the establishment and succeeded where many others failed. But their story is also a warning about the consequences of unchecked ambition. Revolut's success came at a price: risk-taking, aggressive growth, and a willingness to challenge the rules of the financial world. Whether Revolut continues its meteoric rise or hits a roadblock in the coming years, it's already reshaped the way we think about banking. And it's clear that this is just the beginning for the financial revolution they started. Revolut's shocking success isn't just about a business growing fast. It's about how two Russian entrepreneurs, with everything to prove, took over the UK's fintech market and changed the game forever.